Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here at Full Throttle. Thank you very much for tuning in on today's episode. We will be working on the GLK350. This is a 2010 model, so it is the pre-facelift with the M272 engine. So today we will be doing a spark plug change and showing you guys how easy it is to do this yourself, and all you need is very basic tools to get this job done. At the same time, this is going to save you a ton of money. I will leave a link down in the description below for all the tools that I've used in today's episode, including the parts as well, which is brand new OEM NGK Iridium spark plugs. This is the OEM spark plug that if you go to the Mercedes Benz dealership, you'd be buying. The only difference is it comes in a Mercedes box, and of course it's branded as a Mercedes spark plug. It's gonna be a very quick DIY job, guys. Save yourself a ton of money and do it yourself. And again, I will leave all the links down in the description below for the products used in today's episode. Let's get started. All right, guys, so first step, we're going to remove the front engine cover. If you've seen the oil change procedure, it's the exact same method. Pull up in the front and pull up in the rear and set that aside. At this step, we can remove the air intake tubes. Try to be as careful as you can, especially if they are older ones. Very common for the boots to tear. They just all unclip like that. Set that aside. As you can see, that's what happens most times if they are an old intake tube. So just be cautious of that. I do have to replace this one. In the meantime, I will tape this up until I get a replacement. I'm going to set that aside. At this point, guys, it's very simple. There's a steel metal clip that goes up over the throttle body in the rear. You're just simply going to push that back towards the firewall. Once that's pulled back, just keep an eye. If you do have a plastic hose above, you don't want to break it. But all you're going to do is lift up on the intakes, just like that. Again, be cautious of the plastic tube in the rear. And then you're going to just simply lift off. All right, guys, so at this point, we have a full view of the actual motor. Here we have our main intake into the manifold and our mass airflow sensor. This does have a screen on it, but just be very cautious you don't knock dirt or debris into that area. Most times I'll set a clean rag over that just to be sure you don't, like I said, get any debris in there. But otherwise, we have our 3 ignition coils along the side and the same thing on the driver's side of the engine. At this point, we're going to remove the ignition coils. And all that's going to do is use your T and your Torx bit. I'll show you guys right now. It should be, I do believe, a T27. And it is. So it's a Torx 27 bit that we're going to use for that. Once you have all the screws removed, you can remove the ignition coils. Just pull straight up. Till they pop just like that. And then you're going to remove those. You can either leave them connected just off to the side like that, or you can disconnect them from the main wire harness. I would just recommend to make sure you keep track and reinsert back into the same spot. All right, guys, I'm just going to give you a close-up here so that you can see. Did spill some excess oil on the last episode, changing the oil, so this is a good opportunity to wipe that up. But otherwise, you can see there's quite a bit of room in here. It's quite accessible and a very easy job to do. And there you can see down in the spark plug hole there for all 3 of them. So at this point, we're going to grab our spark plug socket, and then we'll start to remove one at a time and replace one at a time, guys. So it's very important. Some guys do remove all at once. I recommend doing one at a time. That way you have less opportunity for something to fall into the cylinder head. All right, guys, so to remove the spark plug, you are going to need a 5/8 socket, preferably a spark plug socket, possibly a couple different extensions, and then of course your ratchet. So we're going to remove the first spark plug now. So even with a spark plug socket, I was still unable. The boot is just a little bit loose. It's a worn boot inside. I still wasn't able to pick up the spark plug. So an additional tool for you guys, is a very cheap thing to get, is just an extendable magnet. At that point, I can stick that down and grab the plug and easily remove it. So I'm not quite sure when this was last replaced, guys. Of course, I just picked up the vehicle not that long ago. So we're just finally doing our main services based off mileage, and I purchased the vehicle around 187,000 kilometers, and we just hit 204,000. So these plugs, again, hard to say when they were replaced last. They do look like they've been in there for quite some time. We have some corrosion on the threads and definitely a worn tip on the end. There we go. The gap between the old plug to the new one is huge. The gap should be 0.032 inches for the spark plug gap, and your new plug should be pre-gapped from factory. So when you purchase these, you should not have to gap them, and you always want to start threading the spark plug by hand. Once we have it in there, we're going to take our socket. You're going to go very easy, don't force anything. You're going to just wobble it around until it starts to thread in. Again, guys, you don't want to force this. You don't want to strip those threads. It is aluminum, so it is very soft. So once you got those started by hand, at that point we can snug it up with the ratchet. We're going to take our torque wrench. The torque spec on these plugs for the M272 engine is 23 Newton meters. You're going to put your torque wrench on. And we'll go to 23 Newton meters. At this point, we'll repeat the process. Again, we're going to grab our new plug. There's a brand new one. And we're going to start to install that. Alright guys, I saved you a bit of time there. I finished up the driver's side, so now we have all brand new 6 spark plugs. They were torqued to 23 Newton meters, and then I've reinstalled all 6 ignition coils as well. So we're now ready to install the air box, the air tubes, and then the front engine cover. So this is the exact same way that you removed it. First thing first is to get the rear gasket lined up with the mass airflow sensor intake tube. So again, just watch out for the plastic tube above. You don't want to damage that. So basically, once you think you have it lined up, you can confirm by coming back in the rear, feeling with your hand. Make sure that is perfectly lined up. Then you can push down each side. At that point, you can come in the rear and secure the metal clip, just like that. And we can reinstall our intake tubes. All right, guys, and it's that simple to perform a spark plug replacement on any M272 engine. So specifically, this was a 2010 GLK that we worked on today. But again, the process would be exactly the same no matter what model this engine is in. Again, the M272 engine. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please leave your thoughts and comments down below. Smash that like button. And of course, if you aren't currently subscribing to the channel, be sure to subscribe as well, as we have a ton of great content on here already. And of course, we have a ton more coming your way, and you're not going to want to miss out. Again, guys, thank you very much for your love and support. Until next time, you guys know what to do. Keep her at full throttle.